Hi, I'm Vicky. I love books and enjoy reading. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is to read. If I go for a run, I listen to an audiobook. In my leisure moments, I read whilst enjoying some good music. Are you an avid reader, or you're not learning how to read? Maybe you used to enjoy reading, but somehow it has become a thing of the past. Come on this journey with my guests and I as we dive into various books and themes these books talk about. Every week, I speak to various authors who are behind life-transforming books, as well as promote various stakeholders within the publishing industry. The Kiddie Zone segment on the show is meant specifically to ignite reading interest in your child. Watch the Writer's Blog on this station this and every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. and on Sunny 88.7 FM every Saturday at 1 p.m. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia and supported by The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind. Hello and welcome to The Writer's Blog Talk Show, a program designed to celebrate authors and their works. We are seeking to promote Ghanaian and African authors as well as their works. We are also seeking to promote other stakeholders within the publishing industry. We're talking about publishing houses, bookshops, and all of that. We are proudly powered by Reveal Multimedia and supported by Caris Books, Angelou, Aku Books Audio, Challenge Enterprises of Ghana, Cody's Beauty and Fashion GH, Site Farm, FC Beauty. This makeup is by Kanketsi FC Beauty, and of course La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Today I'm wearing Veric clothing. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Erica, and your team. I'm looking super, I'm thinking. All right, and then our media partners, Sunny FM and Sunny TV. We're coming to you live from La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. They say uniquely golden, traditionally Ghanaian. If you're looking for that one spot, one place to have a great time, serene atmosphere, good food, make sure you're making your way here. Number on your screen, place your order, make reservations right here, and you will be blessed. Today, I'm graced by a wonderful woman. She is called Grace, and her book is a memoir titled Endurance and Grace Personified. This story about her life will change your life. Stay with us. When we are back, we'll get talking to her. There are many who have gone to their graves with untold stories. Stories meant to change and transform lives. Don't let that happen to you. If a story isn't you, it has to come out. It must be told. Do you have an idea or a life-transforming story to share? Do you want to write a book but don't know how? Let the expert writers at Reveal Multimedia help you out. Are you a preacher with a desire to convert your sermons into books and other readable materials? Reveal Multimedia offers efficient and on-time audio-to-text transcription services at a very affordable price. We also transcribe interviews, documentaries, etc. We offer other editorial services such as editing and proofreading. That's not all. At Review, the author and his or her book are our priority. We are the brain behind the Writer's Blog, a book review program which airs on Sunny FM and Sunny TV, meant to celebrate authors and their works, as well as promote other stakeholders in the publishing industry. We offer PR services for authors with top-notch publicists who create thrilling stories, book reviews and commentaries, organize book launches and related events to provide mileage on all meaningful media platforms for the author and their works. Call on us today to help bring every creative idea to life. For more information, call, text or send a WhatsApp message to 0552 535 036 or 0208 428 322. Send us an email, revealmultimediagh@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Reveal Multimedia GH. Our website is www.revealmultimediagh.com. Reveal Multimedia, dreams come alive.
know what you think of reflects who you are? Back to Base, your Bible study on radio, brings you the Mind Shift Conference. This conference aims at helping you do things differently. And how can we do things differently if our mind is not renewed? So, on the 1st of October 2022 at the National Theatre Exhibition Hall, come let us find out how we can renew our minds and do things differently in our physical, spiritual, and emotional life for better results. Speakers are Ghana's favorite uncle, Uncle White, and Dr. Shogo from Nigeria. Time 12 noon. Theme Mind Shift. For more information, sponsorship, adverts, and partnership, please call 0240 215 168 or 0508 554 450. Back to Base, making the word real.
Welcome back. This is the Writer's Block Talk Show right here on this channel. Remember, we're coming to you live from La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. I'm here with the team, DJ and Gabby from Sunny TV, and they are always holding us down. We say a very big thank you to them. Our quote for today is by Maya Angelou, and it says, "Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently." I describe this great woman as a woman of great faith and courage, having been able to go through what she's gone through and telling her story in such an amazing way. It will really bless you. Let me just tell you something little about Madam Grace Amenyogbeli. Now, she is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, UK, now the Chartered Governance Institute. She has an Executive Master of Business Admin degree in Human Resource Management. Her entire work life has been with development organizations, starting with TechnoServe Incorporation, a U.S. organization, which is from April 15 to 1989, and then 1999. Okay, to SNV, Netherlands Development Organization, and then she ended at the African Women's Development Fund, 2003, where she went on compulsory retirement at the end of January 2019. It means that she loves to work power. All right, she worked during the greater part of this period as an accountant and later on as a human resources manager. Grace is the founder of the Sena Anku Memorial Foundation. It is an organization in memory of and in response to the wish of her late daughter, Sena Sylvia Anku. Upon retirement from active service, Grace has dedicated her time to charity work while assisting in the care of her grandchildren. Grace is a biological mother of 3, one called to glory, and a mother by association and responsibility to many, like us here on the Writer's Block Talk Show. She loves the company of young people, and she loves to be a source of inspiration to them. Above all, Grace is a humble child of God by grace. So, Madam Grace, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
But I love your name. Looking at the story, reading it, and the experiences you've had, I'm sure your parents had a very good reason for choosing that name for you.
Yeah, possibly. However, I never liked the name growing up
Really? Why?
because I felt it was too common a name.
Okay.
However, going through all this and life's experiences, I've realized it's a wonderful name.
Very, very wonderful name indeed. But you have actually made your life, you've put your life out there in this book.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't hide anything.
No.
And I just would like to know, I'm sure viewers would also like to know why you decided to put this memoir together.
Yes, I've realized that, first of all, everybody has a story to tell, different shades of stories. I've realized that my life has been too eventful. My life story has been so much full of stress, life's troubles. And I also observe that there are still many people experiencing same. So I felt that I needed to do this to encourage somebody. But when I read through and read through. At a point, I said, "Ooh, this was too much to share with the whole world." Then, on a second thought, I said, "No, Jesus died for people. So if I put my life out, and it will benefit somebody and encourage somebody, why not?"
Why not? Why not? And I bet you, if you get a copy of this book, and we'll let you know how much it's going for and where you can get copies, you will be blessed, especially for single mothers out there and every woman who has a purpose. This book will empower you to brace yourself for the storms, because no matter what, the Lord is on your side. You can make it. Let's start from the very beginning. Remember, it is the Writer's Block Talk Show right here on this channel. We are here with Madam Grace Amenyogbeli.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're discussing her memoir, Endurance and Grace Personified. So let's start from the very beginning. Tell us about growing up, your education, up until marriage.
Okay. I come from Kpando, the commercial town in the Volta region.
Okay.
In the Kpando municipal area. And I am the third for my mom, but the sixth for my dad.
Wow.
Clearly, I'm from a polygamous family.
Okay.
Yeah. I spent part of my life with my mom and then later with my dad.
Okay.
I grew up in a reasonably, I would say my father was a rich man in Kpando by Kpando standards.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So my life was fine, comfortable. Beginning, I went to what we call today Saito.
Okay.
Yes, but those days it was good.
Yeah.
And I went to EP primary school and then the EP middle school. I used to be a very brilliant, very super brilliant child.
Yeah.
But having said that, I was second to last in class 1. Because I went to class 1 straight from the house. No, nothing like nursery, kindergarten. From home to class 1. And the day I got there, I was 5. So everything was easy for me except writing the number 4. I also had an issue with my tummy whereby I needed to eat on time. So I remember vividly where my sister, my older sister, was charged to ensure that I took my meals on time. And she stood by the window. We had an assignment writing 1 to 10.
To 10, okay.
I could write 8 all the difficult ones, but not 4. And so she stood by the window. She make a stroke like this, I'll do it. Do this, I'll do it. Cross this, then I'll cross it the other way. Wow, it was terrible.
I think you captured it so beautifully on page 15.
Okay.
And I think that it's something we can read and share with our viewers. It says on one fateful day, we were given an exercise in mathematics, specifically to write down numbers from 1 to 10. Now, going out to break was on condition that every pupil completed this assignment correctly. Lo and behold, I got stuck at number 4. It was tough for me to write 4. A number supposed to be one of the easiest to write. My responsible and anxious sister desperately followed up to my classroom, having waited for me after a while to ensure I got some snacks. She found me struggling with the number 4. So she directed me from outside, where she stood by the window. Make a stroke like figure 1. I did. Make another at the base to the right. I did. Now cross it. Then I crossed the left side. This went on for about 10 minutes. During this period, she became visibly irritated.
Yes.
But eventually you did?
Yes, I did. And finally I went for the break.
Okay.
So somehow, even though I was second to last in class, they pushed me to class 2. But when I got to class 2, from second to last to first, Nobody beat me. My classmates are there. They will vouch for this. Nobody could beat me. I was super brilliant.
So what would you attribute this to from where you came?
I think it's about child development.
Okay.
Because I went to class 1 the day I was 5. These days, I see that children, they might have they go through nursery, even preschool and all that.
Yeah.
And by 6, they get to.
Yeah.
But I went to class 1 the day I was 5
You
years.
turned 5.
I felt probably the professionals who attest to that, I think it was about child development.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that level.
Okay. So after going through the process then,
Yeah.
so having clocked executive, MBA and all of that at this stage, we can tell that you're really sharp.
Well, that was much at an older age. After I had my children, gone through all of this terrible experience. So, but it's good.
It's good. It's the Writer's Block talk show right here on this channel. We are speaking with Madam Grace. We are discussing from her book. It's a memoir, Endurance and Grace Personified. So let's talk about marriage. From the book, you make us understand that you decided to marry early.
Yes.
It did not go down well with your dad.
No.
Tell us about the story.
For me, even while in school, secondary school, my time, I always imagined having a home, my husband, my children. I could imagine myself busy around taking care of people, and I purposed to have a family early in my life. But my father particularly, he wasn't in favor of that, because he saw me as the shining star for his children.
Okay.
I was the only person rising like that academically at the time, even though I have seniors ahead of me, my senior siblings.
Okay.
So he wasn't enthused about that idea. But I was also determined to do it. But on the other hand, I was determined as well to satisfy him.
To please him.
Yes, to please him.
And you did.
I did eventually. But after he had passed away.
So tell us about your marriage. I know giving birth wasn't easy for you, and then eventually you did have children. Tell us about the journey, the hard times, the trying moments. For you being at home, your husband working, your husband now saying this other side job is fetching him more, and so he quits his job to start his own business, the issues around that. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the sad part was that he never allowed me to work. People have children and they work, but he never allowed me to work so that I could take good care of the children. And so he was first working with corporates. However, like you said, you read in the book, he decided to have his own way. He started with businesses along the way. Then he came home voluntarily. And that's where the trouble started. Because what he wanted, he thought he could be getting from his businesses, didn't materialize. He ended up creating a whole lot of troubles for himself and for all of us. Life became very terrible, tough.
Yeah.
And at a point, he absconded, to cut a long story short. And at that time, at a point, I decided, that was about 7 years, I went back to school. Those days, IPS.
Okay.
And that's where I did the professional
Courses.
Yeah. That was, during that time, it was so tough. I was going to school from home, and when he wasn't around, I'll go for lectures, run to Achimota school, pick the children, come back.
At this point, how many children did you have?
I had 3.
3.
Yes.
So you had all of them before?
Yes, I had all 3 plus my Matilda, who was my firstborn, so to speak. Their lastborn, who became my child.
Your child, yes.
Yes. So they were 4 all with me. And my niece joined us. At a point, we were 5.
Okay.
But I still had to take care of them. I did all sorts of little business. On campus, I sold pens at the library, toffees, hash toffee. Those days, people studied while chewing gum, while eating toffee. They claimed they could to keep them awake.
To keep them awake, okay.
So the librarian was so good to me. I sold those little things to survive somehow.
Somehow.
God is good.
When we are back from this break, we are going to find out from her what kept her going in those times, because her husband was no more in the picture, but single-handedly, by the grace of God, she was able to take care of all the children. Very trying moments for her, but she did it by grace. It is the Writer's Block Talk Show right here on this channel. Please stay with us.
What you think of reflect who you are. Back to Base, your Bible study on radio, brings you the Mind Shift Conference. This conference aims at helping you do things differently. And how can we do things differently if our mind is not renewed? So, on the 1st of October 2022 at the National Theatre Exhibition Hall, come let us find out how we can renew our minds and do things differently in our physical, spiritual, and emotional life for better results. Speakers are Ghana's favorite uncle, Uncle White, and Dr. Shogo from Nigeria. Time, 12 noon. Theme, Mind Shift. For more information, sponsorship, adverts, and partnership, please call 0240-215-168 or 0508-554-450. Back to Base, making the word real.
My name is Naodi Asante from Angelou. Angelou is a children's company, a multimedia children's company that wants to help parents to raise successful and blessed kids. We believe that all children have potential and it has to be unleashed. So we are helping parents to unleash this potential, and especially for us as Africans, we believe that this is our time. This is when we can make an impact in this world. We want to raise a new generation of strong, confident, bold African children who would change the world, change the narrative of an African in the world. We are starting from Ghana. We are hoping that we will be able to reach the whole of Africa and let the children know that, look, they can do anything that they want to do, because through Christ, all things are possible.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, I'm wearing today Veric clothing. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Eric, and your team for holding us down all the time. I'm looking very super. Number on your screen, get in touch with him. He does men wears, very professionally done, African touch. You will have it and you will be blessed. We are also proudly supported by Challenge Enterprises of Ghana when it comes to Bibles, reference Bibles, devotional study Bibles, children Bibles, women Bibles, local ones as well, motivational Christian books, theological, all of that. They have textbooks, calculators, they have stationery, all of that. Just get in touch with them. Number on your screen, details out there. Go have some good time. Remember, all we want to do is to inculcate reading and writing back into the system. I'm here with Madam Grace. We are discussing from her memoir, Endurance and Grace Personified. Now, Madam Grace, before the break, you talked about some challenging times, right from your husband, absconding or deciding to leave. We just want you to give us a little background regarding how you were able to survive handling all these children by yourself?
Basically, it was the grace of God, because I always had people to help me. In the book,
It's a tall list.
I call them
Yeah.
strategic helpers. Everything I needed, I found somebody to take care of it by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And so that spurred me on. And by God's grace, I tried to do little businesses. I remember at Technoserve was a large company. I could order shirts, men's clothes, and then they will make for them, and I will sell to them on credit with all my salary. And by the time the month ends, they will pay me back. And I was doing that, getting money, you know. So when I started working, it was much better. And I used to travel to villages.
Okay.
The work took me to villages where I got food stuff, and that also helped a lot. And so the grace of God always opened the door for me. I always got people picked the children to school for me. You know, that was the most difficult thing, because we lived in Medina all the way to Achimota School. I also insisted that my children will go to Achimota Preparatory School.
You wanted the best for them.
Yes, no matter what. I remember one time I used a whole my service allowance to pay part of the fees. But I was so happy to do that. And the school authorities also had some patience with me. All of this is grace.
It's grace.
You know.
It's grace.
So somehow God made the way, touched people's hearts, his favor, attracting favor of men. And I said,
there's this portion, that's page 52, if you can kindly open for me, where you shared about eating banku every single day. And this has to do with those trying moments as well.
yes.
So let's read from that portion right from them. Even though our accommodation challenge had been addressed, untold poverty and stark lack lingered on. Please, can you continue?
Our food was one way. A pot of palm soup prepared on every Saturday. We ate fufu with part of it and kept the rest to go with banku throughout the week till the next Saturday.
Wow.
The routine continued to the extent that the children composed a song about it. Every day, banku. Yesterday, banku. Today, too, banku. Tomorrow will be banku.
So how did you deal with that, especially with your children?
Yeah, for me, at least, we got some food to eat.
And that was enough.
And I explained to them, always the youngest person got the best of whatever food we had.
Okay.
So like beverage, Milo, and those things, I couldn't provide for everyone. So the youngest, which was my son at the time, he was the only person drinking Milo.
Wow.
So somehow, some maybe divine strategy, and I think God also tamed the children. They were very understanding.
Okay.
They made fun about this, but they ate it every time.
I don't know how many children will do that at this time, but you can clearly say
they ate
that grace was at work. Now, what, if I may ask, has been the role of faith in all of these?
While at IPS then, my friend Gladys Adochim, she led me to Christ.
Okay.
And so I used to go to EP. EP is a good church.
Okay.
But when she took me to Charismatic Action Chapel International, I got closer to God.
To God, okay.
And so I got that understanding that my favorite, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
That's your favorite scripture?
Yes, I knew that if I could bear this, it wasn't going to be forever. It will end at a point. That was one reason I insisted of keeping the children at the Achimota Preparatory School. I forsook so many things. I remember I cut my hair, what we call davi. So I did not spend money on my hair. I did not spend money on expensive clothes. I used to manage with the bend down boutique thing for all of us.
And it was working.
And we were still looking good. Some people admiring it. So I managed my life. And I do not, I wasn't competing with anybody.
Wonderful.
My children, even though Achimota's Preparatory School was full of rich people's children, they were okay. They were not children who craved for things. I remember we would go to a party, how people would crave for food. They wouldn't, people who were not getting expensive things to eat, or
they were content.
They humbled themselves. So probably all of this helped me to sail through. If they were not obedient, if they were not supportive, if they were not listening to me, probably I would have died and left them.
But do you know that Madam Grace wanted to have 12 children in the very beginning?
Yes, I wanted 12
but God
children.
gave her enough. And in fact, now it's more than 12 because all of us are part.
Yes,
but if
so
you're
many.
a child and you're listening to us, young adults, whoever it is, I hope that you're taking a cue from this one. There's no need to compete with anybody. I mean, when we are done, I'm sure that Madam Grace will have a word for you. You ought to be content with what mommy and daddy can give you because they mean well for you, no matter what. Now, there's another striking story here on page 57. It says, on my return one night while the children were asleep, I found their bodies covered with mosquitoes, likened to how flies gather around in public places of convenience. Apparently, that had always been the case, but I did not realize it early enough. I had had mosquito nets fixed on all windows with the trapdoor on the two doors to the rooms where we slept, forgetting that the rooms were without ceilings and had wide vents for mosquitoes to come through.
Yes.
You know, I can relate in a way. I mean, I remember when we moved, we had to move, how do I put it? Impromptu. Because for some reason, our landlord said, get out. And we were in the estates. We were quite okay and we're taking our time to build our home. And then from nowhere, this man says, it's enough, get out of here. My husband said, what are we going to do? I had been sick for some years, 2 years, bedridden, and so we had squandered our savings on a lot of medication and stuff. So we had no idea how we were going to do. So we had to move. We moved without all of that. So anytime I get to this portion, it just brings back memories that indeed God has a plan for all of us. It doesn't matter how you start off, He has a way. But how did you feel?
Well, in our case, this wasn't even our own place. Somebody, another strategic helper, gave us his place, very uncompleted. And so I managed to do what I have mentioned here, fix those nets. But the ceiling was a lot of work, which I couldn't do at the time. And so we just had to manage with it. But I used to travel, you know, go on trek and come back, leaving the children behind. So I didn't know this was happening until that night.
I'm sure you were shaking.
It was terrible. So the first time, in that night, I just lit coil around everybody, and thinking that will repel mosquitoes, and put it so close to everybody, forgetting that even the scent could affect their health. That one never clicked. Only for my niece's pillow to burn. It caught fire. It burned around her head. But not a strand of her hair got burnt. She still slept.
It's amazing. And it's
Today
the
broke.
picture in here, I'm just picturing it, that every part of the pillow got bent.
Yes.
It did not touch her hair, her face, nothing.
No, we are talking about the grace of God.
That's right.
I have lived the grace of God. And that's my niece, not my own child.
The story would
So,
have been different. The story would have been different.
That's the doctor today.
And we thank
Doctor.
God for your life.
Yes.
We thank God for your life. And we are taking a cue from you, the courage with which you went about, doing what you have done and what you keep doing. I'm sure there are many of us that you're going to mentor. And maybe we should think about that. We should have some mentoring program
Okay.
for young women and, of course, women who are single parents helping their children out. But just in a few minutes, I don't want us to dwell there much. In the midst of all the issues that you went through, I'm thinking from this book that the most trying time would have been losing your daughter.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
My pretty daughter, very pretty, I always say. If it was beauty, then my daughter wouldn't have died. She was super pretty, those who knew her. She went to the hospital one day. She was not feeling well. And she saw a poster there, how guiding women to examine their breast. So while waiting in front of the consulting room, she did it right there. And then she felt something in her breast. So when it was her turn to see the doctor, she entered. So after telling the doctor why she was there, she added that. And so they took it up. And long story, it happened to be cancer. The process, she experienced a lot of delays along the way, the treatment. She was very vibrant. Even chemotherapy days, she was so strong. Sometimes, the day she took it, she was down, she was ill, and all of that. She lost her hair, everything. She went through all. And she was fine again. She was working at Stanbic Bank, very supportive bank. And she resumed work. But she was told that she couldn't take seed because the chemo had destroyed a whole lot. Well, they said the probability was 1.5 for her to take seed, which almost zero.
Almost zero, yeah.
So. And then she was planning to get married, and then she took seed. Honestly, I wasn't happy about that marriage that was being planned.
Okay.
But she took seed. I said, okay. And she had to go and report at the hospital. In fact, the oncologist who took her through, he was so excited, very happy that, oh, she took seed. Fine. So they took her through all the process. At a point, she had to see a gynae. And in fact, that time, the oncologist was going on leave and he handed her over. But personally, maybe I was too anxious. I felt she wasn't getting the needed care.
Okay.
So I took her to Leicester Hospital.
Okay.
And there, a visiting oncologist came. I was at work. They called me. The doctor spoke like an hour on phone to tell me that my daughter was in danger. She shouldn't have taken seed. That was going to aggravate the hormones to, for the cancer thing to
escalate.
Oh. So I said, what should we do? He said, it's her choice to either terminate it or she would go. And they spoke to her. She said, no, she will not terminate. She was about 6 months pregnant. Trusting God. I had never prayed in my life like that during that period. Well, long story short, We traveled. The oncologist came from UK. He took us to UK. But there, they told me in the face that your daughter will die. Can you imagine that? So we should just go back home. So we came. Some dietitian came in, we did a few things, but God's counsel stood. At a point, I realized that God was in it because I never needed money. Cancer treatment is so expensive, but we got help from everywhere.
Okay.
Stanbic Bank, I say it with a grateful heart. My employers, they didn't have that in their policy. People, we need money. But Sena passed away. But before she passed, she told me that, Mama, if I survived, I'm going to support needy cancer patients. And so when she passed on, I was encouraged by my friend. First of all, my pastor, currently Bishop Ben Salah. I salute him from my heart.
ICGC Adenta.
Action Chapel. He was our pastor. He did everything. Wow. He organized prayer parties. He took us everywhere. But God's counsel stood. So he said, Auntie Grace, why don't you do this so that you support some people, so that we don't forget about Sena. He used to love Sena so much. But I said no initially because some people thought people found foundations to make money for themselves. So I said no. But my friend who hosted us in UK sent the same message to me. I said, oh, okay, if that be the case, Sena herself, it was her wish, so let's do it. That is how the foundation came into being.
And every proceed from here
goes to this foundation straight away, not a pesewa to me. No, I have invested in it, but that is my bit to humanity. That is all I can do to support humanity for the sake of my daughter.
We are here with Madam Grace sharing from her book Endurance and Grace Personified. And this is going out to the foundation set up for in memory of her late daughter. You want to purchase a copy either online or physical. How much is it going for?
Physical, Challenge Bookshop, 70
Bookshop,
CDs.
70 CDs, but also it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
And seller.co.
Yes.
So get a copy for yourself. Remember, as you are being blessed by this story, you are also contributing to the fund so that many other cancer patients can be blessed from it. When we are back from this quick break, which is TWB Nuggets with Baba Okran, we'll round up our conversation with Madam Grace. Stay with us.
This is TWB Nugget. Hello and welcome to TWB Nuggets. It's been a while. I hope you're good. Anyways, moving on to today's discussion. On TWB Nuggets, we have discussed how to take proper care of books, tips on how to get the most out of reading a book, ways to improve your writing skills, and so many other amazing tips. However, it is important to note that none of these tips can happen without conceiving the idea first. Yes, you heard right. According to the Oxford Language Dictionary, an idea is a plan, thought, or suggestion, especially about what to do in a particular situation. Dear friends, that book you desire to write starts with the idea you have in mind. You could write your life story or journey, share a societal burden, and provide solutions, etc. That idea that is giving you sleepless nights wants to come alive. So, what are you waiting for? Give Reveal Multimedia Limited a call today on 0552 535 036. That is 0552 535 036. Just in case you're a slow writer, it is 0552 535 036. and we will help that book or publishing dream to come alive. Reveal Multimedia Limited, like we say, dreams come alive. And that is our tip for today. But remember, begin you and your child's publishing dreams with us. Don't forget to give Reveal Multimedia Limited a call today on 0552 535 036. I'm Ba Bokran, and like I always say, bye for now.
Welcome back. We're still here with Madame Grace discussing from her book, Endurance and Grace Personified. She is a super strong woman, and I think I know where her strength comes from, the Lord God Almighty. That's why it's so important for you to take Christ seriously, so that in such times he will be your rock. But let's talk about the foundation. How is it doing so far?
So far, it's doing good. However, because of financial difficulties, we have not achieved as much that we would have wanted. But we're doing good. We organize breast screening for churches, for schools, for organizations. Even this Saturday, we're going to have one for a ministry of information.
So if somebody wants to support,
yes,
how do they do that?
We have our bank accounts, but if it's by Momo, you can send it to 0244 712350.
Number on your screen now, I'm sure you can see it.
Yeah, those who are living in Kumasi and its environs, they can also get access to the book through this same number 0244 712350.
But if you're an IT person, you want the book on the go, you can get a soft copy on Amazon.com or Seller.co. But there are amazing testimonies, so many lessons actually to learn from this book. I just want to share one testimony by Dr. Margaret Mauli Ansre. He says, I met Grace Amenyogbeli in 1986, about 34 years ago, when I enrolled for a course in Chartered Secretaries and Administrators at the Institute of Professional Studies, now University of Professional Studies, UPSA, Ghana. The class size was small, and soon we became acquainted with each other. However, with time, I realized that Grace was exceptional, and I was naturally drawn to her. She was not just a pretty young lady who could not go unnoticed, but also hardworking and determined. Over the years, my relationship with Grace deepened. Grace became my best friend at school, and her whole family also became known to members of my family. With time, I realized Grace was possibly doing so many things at the same time. With a family of 5, last Sena of blessed memory, Aseye, Mispa, and Chief, her boundaries knew no bounds. She had mouths to feed, and accommodation to pay for, school fees to pay, and indeed other responsibilities to cope with. There was a particular time when I boldly asked her why she would leave her children alone in a very isolated suburb of Accra and go on treks for weeks. It was then she told me she needed to do that to be able to feed her family. As a young lady of just about 30 years, Grace would drive a 4-wheel truck thousands of miles away from Accra. Let me look at Madame Grace again. Thousands of miles away from Accra, while her children at a very tender age or tender ages would trek about 6 kilometers to get a car to school and back. In the midst of all these difficulties, Grace always wore an infectious smile, not a brow of sorrows. And it goes on and on. Beautiful piece indeed. And this is just amongst many that you would find in this book. But Madame Grace, this is your camera. I wanted to share a word with someone listening to us, going through a certain time, especially single parents who are struggling to keep their children going in these times.
The only thing I can share with somebody is that we have a God who is true to his word. He said he is not a man to lie. Neither is he a son of man to change his mind. Whatever he says he will do, he will do. He has given us so many promises in the Bible. That is what I relied on. Because when you are in a difficulty, all you have to do is to focus on Him. He will guide you, so you do your part. And He will lead you with humility. You will find people to help you along the way. Strategic helpers that I had, I got them, I believe, through humility. So I encourage somebody, don't throw in the towel. Don't say, why me? Why shouldn't it be you? So be encouraged. Look up to God. Many women, we might face similar problems. Single parent, look up to God. He will help you through it. Young people, if you read this book, I decided not to draw out any lessons for anybody because people find things differently. Somebody might think that going into marriage early is wrong. But I had my children early and that has helped me. But somebody will say, no, that is wrong. Wait, when you are done with work, school, everything, you might, whatever the lesson, you will extract it yourself. So many lessons to learn from this book. So go ahead, patronize it for somebody to be healed from cancer to the glory of God.
Amen.
Amen.
70 Ghana Cedis Challenge Bookshop. You can get a copy also on Amazon.com and Seller.co. The soft copies are available there. Number also on your screen. You can call and get copies for yourself. Once again, Madam Grace, thank you so much. And I love the fact that you love CC's song. All my life you have been faithful.
If I dare sing that song right now, I will cry.
So let's keep it there. But the Lord is indeed a faithful God.
Because that song is just a summary of my whole life. Yeah.
I thank God for your life.
Yes.
And thank you so much for coming to share with us. May the grace of God continue to be with you.
Amen.
And see you through it all.
Yes.
But we also have Pastor Delali, who is here to share something about this book and why you need to get a copy of this book. So just before we end, this is Pastor Delali here to share from this book, Endurance and Grace Personified.
This is me, Deladem, and I just want to briefly touch on the book. I want to say a big thank you to Vicky and the team, first of all, for hosting my mother-in-law, who is in fact my mother. I mean, she's an amazing woman. I got in touch with this book from day one. I read the script from day one and I just fell in love with it. For me, I always say that there are a lot of people out there who have so many stories, but they are not willing to share with people because of some of the challenges that they went through. But Mama has actually gone the extra mile to actually, should I say, expose their life to the barest detail, telling people exactly things that she's gone through in life and how she's been able to overcome them. So I won't encourage someone out there, if you are going through challenges, there are times that you give up. You feel like throwing in the towel. You don't want to try anymore because you feel it's not possible to get out of it. When you read this book, you definitely be encouraged. I also pray that as you read this book, God Himself will minister to you and teach you how to navigate your life. And I believe that the stories in this book in no way will make an indelible impact in your life and cause you to have a well-fulfilled life. Understanding so much that it's only the faith of God that can take us really far in life, not just our own strength or intellect. So I want to encourage all of you to to get this book. You can get it at Challenge Bookshop. You can also get it at Kumasi. You can also get it through the number that Mama provided. Please get it. The money is not going into anyone's pocket. It's going all the way to support cancer patients. So thank you so much for your time and I wish you well. Thank you.
There you have it. Get a copy for yourself and be blessed as well as you sow into this fund in memory of Madam Grace's late daughter. I'm Vicky Amwa. Thank you to Gabi DJ for this time. We came to you live from La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
I'm so grateful to you, Vicky. You guys made it so easy for me to get this opportunity. Baba, Sammy, all of you, Cindy, and the crew, I'm so grateful. I am grateful to all my strategic helpers. If you want to know my strategic helpers, please get the book. I'm so grateful. They know themselves.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. God bless you all once again. So we are back next week. The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind. Hi, I'm Vicky. I love books and enjoy reading. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is to read. If I go for a run, I listen to an audiobook. In my leisure moments, I read whilst enjoying some good music. Are you an avid reader, or you're not learning how to read? Maybe you used to enjoy reading, but somehow it has become a thing of the past. Come on this journey with my guests and I as we dive into various books and themes these books talk about. Every week, I speak to various authors who are behind life-transforming books, as well as promote various stakeholders within the publishing industry. The Kiddie Zone segment on the show is meant specifically to ignite reading interest in your child. Watch The Writer's Blog on this station this and every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. and on Sunny 88.7 FM every Saturday at 1 p.m. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia and supported by The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind.
Thank you for watching the Writer's Blog on this channel. If you want to sponsor, partner, advertise, or have your book reviewed on the show, call or send a text or WhatsApp message to, or send an email to, follow us on social media. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia. Join us next week for another exciting edition. The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind.